What's good, True Kingston? And I've been watching anime for a long time, from my childhood watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon up until now. And I have to say, I'm so sick of seeing this in a lot of these shows. It's the Deus Ex Machina, that's what a lot of people call it. I just call it the reset button. It's pretty much something in any anime could have it, but it's usually just something that exists in the world or a character that has the ability to reset everything in some way, or just have a crazy convenient to the plot ability. They'll just be like, hey, why didn't they just do that or use this instead? So let's give you a quick example, which is going to be the first one we're going to talk about, the one that everybody knows. The Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Z. So the problem with the Dragon Balls is they just grant you a wish. Like, there's not really any downside to it. The closest thing I can think of to a downside for the Dragon Balls is that you have to go and get them. And I guess once you make the wish, you can't just keep them around. They're going to go scatter across the world again. So you have to go find them again. But there's no limit, from what I can know, to the amount of wishes you get, as long as you can gather them over and over again. And when I learned that, at first as a kid, I'm like, okay, no big deal, they're cool. But when you grow up now and you look back at it, it just makes me think, oh, that doesn't matter in this universe. Because you can always be pulled away from it, I guess. I don't know the situation with Goku Black, because I didn't watch Dragon Ball Super, but from what I know, I think he was erased from existence. So I don't know if you can bring back somebody that's hit by some shit like that if you're not even there anymore to be brought back. But then again, I don't know how strong Shinron is. I don't know if Shinron knows if he erased it from this existence and there's another dimension. I don't know how this works. It's Dragon Ball Z. I don't expect good continuity from it. It is what it is. But I will say Dragon Ball, there's definitely the most memorable and most iconic version of this reset button thing. But it's just so ridiculous. I do not care when a character dies anymore. And they proved that there's never too late, because Black Frieza exists, or Frieza himself. Frieza is literally still around in the manga of Super. And this is a character that died in Z. And he's still around now. That just goes to show you what the hell happened. I don't know how many times Goku done died and came back. But I digress, these things happen. Characters can die off, and that's kind of a perfect example of a Deus Ex Machina, I guess. Or I'm going to be calling for the rest of the video a reset button. Next, we're going to go to Hunter x Hunter. If you know about Hunter, you already know where I'm going with this. I'm going to say Alaka. I'm going to be saying her for this segment, because I hear people say he, she, them. I'm going with her. I'm going to say this is a girl for this segment, because I don't know what the gender is. I don't know why they even do that, but it's none of my business. I don't know if it's because of the thing that's in Alaka, if that is something from the Dark Continent, but I go over it. What's going on with Alaka is Alaka has the ability to grant wishes as well, but Alaka has a true downside to it. But you have to grant, to get a wish from Alaka, if I remember correctly, you have to do 3 of her requests. But at the same time, if you deny 3 requests, then you die. They're guaranteed for sure you die. And you're not avoiding this death, because it literally like it just crushes you down to nothingness. So you're gone. I don't know if this part is for sure, but from the example we've seen in the show, is that when the butler died, her lover died, I think, too. So I think the person you love most dies along with you, which is such a fucked up fate. And Alex will be making crazy demands on top of that. So let's say you do want a wish. You might have to rip off one of your freaking nails. You might have to give up an organ. You don't know what Alaka's gonna ask. Whatever they ask, that's what you need. Like, Alaka might ask you, but Killua is so cool with Alaka that it's like, oh, give me a kiss on the cheek. There you go. That's my sister, I don't care, got you. That's basically how Killua was on it. And Killua was using her to save Gun. And it worked. Killua made his wish and Alaka granted it. And Gun was saved, but Gun didn't get his abilities back, is the thing. From what I know, Gun is still ninless, so he just went back to his home, and he's kind of out of the show as far as I know for right now, because he has no power. They have to figure out some other way to handle that. They probably have to find what they're called, Nin Exorcist, but I digress. I'm not going to even go any further into that. Alaka is the Hunter x Hunter version of that. It's going to be, why not use Alaka, but there's more of a reason to say why not use Alaka, because you're risking it. If it's not Killua, you are taking a fat risk with Alaka. if you better be ready to commit to whatever she asks you. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is Eri from My Hero Academia. So, Eri is a little girl that can rewind time. It's not what you would normally think. You're not rewinding the world itself, but you can rewind specific objects or people. So, for example, if Eri is touching you and she activates her quirk, it would make you start becoming younger over time. But Eri has no control over it, at least when we first met her she did. She has control over it now. But the thing about that quirk is, especially when it's under control, it makes it worse. Because now it's just sitting there like, okay, they have trouble with this person? Why not just rewind this person? Like, why not rewind All Might? That's a good example right there. Why not just use Eri to rewind All Might? Use her to give Lemillion his quirk back, which they did like a season or two ago. So, goes to show I was pretty right about that. I was like, Eri is just literally looming over this show as a wrecking ball. Like, anytime some shit... I love My Hero, but anytime some crazy event goes down, I'm assuming the limits to her power is she can't rewind death. That's the only thing I can think of. I wouldn't think she can rewind death, but she can rewind injuries. Because I almost called Deku Gun. But Deku was literally breaking his bones in his fight against Overhaul. He was doing 100%. And he had to, because if he didn't, his body would start rewinding. But it seemed like it heals injuries at a different rate than it heals, or than it just rewinds. It rewinds injuries at a different rate than it rewinds your actual body, when it's at its neutral state, I guess. So Deku keep breaking his body, and it's getting rewinded so it's not broken back and forth. And then even after all that, he couldn't get her off his back. And she was about to start rewinding to the point where she was gonna kill him. And somebody, Racer had to turn her quirk off. I was like, see, that was a good way to handle it when it wasn't under control. Like, we have a power that can rewind people, but the person that can do it can't control it. Now that it's under control, and she can kind of do it at will when her quirk is available, but there's a charge up on it. Now that that's a thing, and the heroes have her on their side, it's kind of like, why didn't the heroes just do this? Why don't they just rewind this person and have them in the fight? Have All Might fighting, or have Deku fighting. Deku's about to lose, he done took some crazy ass damage or something like that. Just rewind it. If Overhaul wants to freaking talk to the boss of the Yakuza again and wake him up, because I think he's still unconscious, he doesn't have his hands anymore, I'll let Eri rewind him, all this sort of stuff. It's just crazy. If Shigaraki got him, I'm like, oh, rewind it. I guess Shigaraki don't need to, because he can regenerate. But I digress. Those are the 3 examples I'm going to use today. But there's other repeat buttons in anime, or reset buttons and stuff like that. You can let me know some of your favorites or least favorites, ones from other shows, because I don't know all of them. Those are the 3 I know off the top of my head. I'm not nothing else to really say about the subject. Let me know what subject I want to hear about next or anything like that. But that's it for me, True Kingston, and I'm out.